What's up guys, Views Ty J and welcome back to a brand new video. Today it is time for the first episode of Manager Switch Ups on Football Manager 2015. Today we're starting with Tim Sherwood and he's going to Aston Villa as he just has a couple of hours ago in real life. Thought it's been a really interesting one to do. And rumoured in the papers this morning is actually that Glenn Hoddle will go to as his assistant. So in this game we have actually put Glenn Hoddle as his assistant manager, the 56-year-old. But Tim Sherwood, prior to coming to Aston Villa, obviously his last managerial place he was at was former club Tottenham. He didn't really do much at Tottenham, but fair enough to him. He did quite a decent amount actually at Tottenham in the couple of months he was there. But now he's gone to Aston Villa. Could that be the wrong choice in real life? I think it is, but that's the wrong place to talk about it right here, right now. But we're going to see what Tim Sherwood can do at Aston Villa, what Glenn Hoddle can do at Aston Villa, and I'll see you next year. 1 year gone then and 40 points. Always make sure you don't get relegated. And on this game it's exactly the same. Aston Villa finished 12th. Awesome really for them. They actually beat Liverpool in the away game. Not surprised there because they always win at Anfield. They beat Newcastle at home. They beat Burnley. Apart from Liverpool, they haven't really beat anybody big. But they drew with Chelsea. Drew with Manchester United, drew with Arsenal, so had a couple of good draws against Tottenham as well. The winners of the league are actually Manchester City, and then lost games. They conceded 76, 7 against Swansea and Leicester. Ouch, 6 against Chelsea, West Brom, Man City, a lot of conceded. But good news, Tim Sherwood is still the manager here He's still the manager here at Aston Villa. He's now studying for a Continental Pro licence, and he could potentially be in charge for the next year. So as you can see, he's played 44 games, won 15, drawn 10 and lost 19. So that's a 34% win percentage. And let's see then who he's actually brought in to the club. So I think he could have brought some decent players into the club. Transfer history, he's bought 2 players in. He's bought Omar Gonzalez from the LA Galaxy, and he's played 32 goals this year, 32 games, sorry, for his $3 million signing, 3 assists and 1 player of the match. And then he bought in Ola Aina from Chelsea for a very small fee, and he hasn't played any games. It looks like a decent player for the future. But sold Ron Vlaar to AS Monaco for 2.4 million, and he's played quite a few games there. But actually, as you can see, Newcastle have sacked Pardew, and there's a couple of managers that could be going into there. But Tim Sherwood has performed very well at Aston Villa, 12th in the Premier League, but of course was very close to relegation. I don't know who's going to come up next year. Let's have a look. Coming up next year, it looks like we can't see. But anyway, next year it could be interesting. Can Aston Villa stay up? That's the big question. Can Aston Villa stay up for another year and even build on this 12th place? The season's over then, folks, and actually Aston Villa have finished in 11th, an improvement actually on last year, but only a point ahead of Newcastle, and actually only 3 points behind Manchester United. Absolutely bonkers. As you can see, some crazy stats here. We've got West Brom, QPR and Hull within a point of each other for 6th, 7th and 8th. And that difference between, let's say, 12th and 6th is only 6 points. But obviously goal difference is a lot. But obviously, well, they're just astonishing. Another real bad route for Aston Villa on goals because, you know, it's terrible. They conceded 7 against Swansea and Liverpool. And actually, they're pretty much up there in the most conceded in the league. But actually, that's an interesting one because Hull have actually conceded exactly the same. But Aston Villa, how have they really done this year? Unfortunately, everyone's going to start crying because Shay Given has retired from professional football, as well as Joe Cole, who didn't even make a single appearance for Aston Villa on the game. But anyway, let's get on to Aston Villa. So how they did this year, obviously they got 11th in the Premier League, which is fair enough. And actually, in the competitions, they actually did pretty well. They were knocked out in the 6th round, actually, of the FA Cup by Derby County. I don't want to go there. Yeah, there we go. Just go on here. And then, actually, see, Derby got to the last round. But actually, it was actually a replay. And Derby won on penalties, believe it or not. So it's really close there. And then in the semis, Derby actually beat Wigan. And then it was Derby against Manchester City. But they won in extra time, believe it or not, at the FA Cup. And the Capital One Cup, Aston Villa got into the final of the Capital One Cup. Oh my God! And they lost to they actually lost to Liverpool in the end, 2-1. And the goal scorers on that day was Jordan Henderson and Raheem Sterling. And they actually played decently, but they've actually done pretty well actually. And this year, how have they done for transfers? Let's look at the brought in this year. So they brought in 5 players. They brought in Chris Solly from Charlton for 1.6 million. They brought in Nicholas Bentner from Wolfsburg for 1.5. And Veruza, I think, was actually there anyway, but he was, I think, there before, but he was only on loan. Sebastian Coates they've bought off Liverpool for 2 million, and Darren Gibson's actually been bought for 275k. This year, not many great transfers. You have Luna to Fulham and Nathan Baker to Burnley. But the senior squad, let's just see. Yeah, here we go. So tactics. Generally, they played a 4-4-2 formation this year, and Loughton played, Akure played. Bentner didn't actually play, but I just have a look. Average rating, Matt Loughton was seen to be the best player this year with average rating. But the last 5 games, Matt Loughton as well has been the best player. Let's see what was. Sebastian Coates is probably the best, and Chris Solly the best transferred players. But actually, in April, if we can go back to April, if this stopped being a pain in the bottom, and as you can see, it is being a pain. But yeah, here we go. As you can see then, Tim Sherwood actually signed a new 3-year deal with the Villa till June 2019, and he's got a 32 grand a week wage, and they've actually had a financial takeover as Graham Taylor is the chair of the club at the moment, and actually they're in real, they're actually really good now apparently, rich-wise. They've actually got a lot of money in with that financial takeover, and Graham Taylor obviously being English, very much an English background, and Glenn Hoddle's still the assistant manager, not to forget him, but he actually is actually weirdly, bizarrely even, he is actually the Holland under-23s manager now, as well as playing as the assistant manager. So whether he will get the chop or whether he just won't be interested in the Villa job anymore, we'll have a look. We're actually going to go for 2 more seasons because Tim Sherwood's kept his job. But remember, if you have enjoyed this video thus far, to make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next year. December has come and Sherwood's been sacked from the Villa. And actually, the guy who's took over, who is it, Mr. Tate?
I'm sorry to say again, it's Moyes.
Yes, it is David Moyes, the 53-year-old. Wow, he's the only one that had to take over, really. Oh my God. But anyway, Sherwood was sacked really because he had a poor league position. That apparently, it was rumoured the day before that they needed a win against Manchester City. That's a bit unfair, really, considering they got 2-1 against people like Man City. But obviously, as I said there, in the end, David Moyes actually took over at Aston Villa, so that was nice. But apparently, what's this? David Moyes was it? Let's have a look. He actually went to Newcastle for a very short stint. Wow, after Manchester United. But anyway, I don't want to drag it on. But yeah, I just want to see what Villa did in December, before December even. Let's see what he did in transfer market. So he bought in all the players. Wow, they spent a lot of money, 26.9 million. Let's have a look what they spent it on. They spent it on Marco Piacha, Jamie Patson, Michael Hector, John Brooks, Josh Brilliante, Scott Malone, Tino Susic, Florian Keynes, Graziano Pell, and then part exchange for Savas Morgos, Thomas Carroll for free from Tottenham, and Bertrand Traore on loan from Chelsea. I'd go for all of them, that's going to take too long. But for a part exchange, it looks like that was with Morgos. Jero Zakuri went for 8.75 million. And apart from that, just all general transfers. And Zobia left Silla and Bayakuna, as well as Tonev, Senderos and Kieran Clark. Vyman went to West Ham on loan. And Aston Villa, I don't think he's really improved it that much, has he? Considering that they've actually still in the relegation zone. That's a weird one. But I think we're going to bring that to the end of it, unfortunately. So, Tim Sherwood, they actually did decently. He actually didn't do that bad. Just going through the video generally then now. So his career stat, his achievements even. Let's just have a look. Competitions, okay. So finished 11th in the Prem in 2016. And then in 2015 finished 12th in the Prem. So they actually did quite decently under Tim Sherwood. Let me know if you've enjoyed this episode, folks. I've been Reviews Ty J. I really hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and put your suggestions for who I want to do in the comments. And I'll make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
I would have gone with Pep Guardiola. At least he brought a Barca style of play. Fellaini. Clever left. Miser.
A little bit of
Miser.
in my life, a little bit of
Fergie.
by my side.
They call me,
Miser.
they call me,
Fergie.
they call me,
Fellaini.
they call me,
Clever left.